Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Linda Sue Plants for You. Today you are looking at my Pilea or Pilea, depending on how you pronounce it. My understanding is that either way is correct, and I don't think I ever say it the same way twice, but that's okay. This plant many of you have seen before. I have gotten her when she was very, very tiny, and I'll tell you the story about that or behind that in just a moment. Right now I just wanted to give you try to give you a good view of her. She has gotten many, many babies inside of there, and I'm starting to lose leaves on the bottom, and I'm quite sure it's because she needs to be repotted. So that is what I'm going to do today. I'm going to get set up a little closer here and move my little potting bin a little closer to the camera. So bear with me while I do that. I'll be right back. Okay, so here we go. I've been putting this off because I really, really love this plant. It's very special to me, and it's not the easiest one in the world to repot. But here goes. Okay, we're going to start with my very professional repotting tools that I have here. My X-Acto knife, because I'm anticipating that I'm going to be cutting off some of the babies and potting them in their own pots. And I think, you know, the reason for that is because they are not getting enough light. They're getting very, very crowded and cramped in here. I'll show you a close-up of this in a minute. And then we have my little dollar store or Dollar Tree scooper, which I use sometimes, but I really like to get my hands in the soil, so sometimes I use it when I need to get in tight spaces and my hands just don't want to bend in that direction. And then last but not least is my very, very, very precise root loosening tool, which I got from my kitchen drawer. It is also known as a butter knife. So nothing fancy here, folks. Just we use whatever we have on hand, and it all works, right? Okay, so to begin with, I'm going to take this and I'm going to go straight down, being as careful as possible not to touch the plants. For those of you who are growing these yourself, you will be familiar with the fact that these plants will sometimes shoot babies way at the edge of the pot. Underneath is their root system, and it's long, and it'll come, you know, from the center of the plant out, and then the plant shows up at the rim of the pot. That's very common with these. So we need to be very careful when we're digging down in there that we're not cutting into those, if there are any there, that we're not disturbing those roots or maybe even cutting some of the foliage. I have one of these in the other room that is the baby from this plant that is now having babies of her own, and that's where she's shooting them out to the end of the pot. And there's probably some botanical or scientific reasoning or explanation for that. Unfortunately, I wouldn't know what that is. I just know that sometimes they do that. And sometimes they shoot them right out from the center, from the crown of the plant. And like I said, there's probably an explanation excuse me, as to why they would do that, but I don't know what it is. So we're just going to continue to loosen this all the way around as far down as possible. And for those of you that have been following me, you know that I did this just not too long ago. And it has just taken off. I have this plant in the south window. And although I do have some obstruction there at this time of year, because I have trees on that side of our yard, and they have a lot of foliage on them themselves, so it's getting kind of dappled light from that window. But I also have it under a floor lamp that has 3 bulbs in it, all 100 watt equivalent. So it's getting a lot of very, very bright light. And I think that is the key. I hope you can see what I'm doing. Excuse me. I'm trying to get the whole plant in here, but at the same time I'm trying to get the close-up of the detail so you can see what I'm doing here. But I am not fortunate enough to have a photographer, so I have to set the camera where I think it's gonna work the best, and then I look through my flip viewfinder, and it looks like it's a good picture right now. So hopefully it is. One of the things that I want to mention is if you see a little fly flying around the camera lens. Oh, I just lost a leaf. That's sad. Those are not fungus gnats. They're fruit flies. And we have been inundated with those this year. So I think we got a handle on them finally. They keep coming in every time my husband comes in the back door. And we have put the fly strips up, and they're catching most of them. But every once in a while, I see one. The difference between the fruit flies and the fungus gnats is that the fruit fly will go after, well, they go after everything, but mostly sweet stuff. And they'll go after water. If you have a cup of coffee or juice or something sitting around, they'll land in that. And where the fungus, and they like almost attack you, and they're extremely annoying. But the fungus gnats, they'll hover around the top, the rim of the top of the pot, because they're looking to get into the soil to lay their eggs. And fruit flies tend to be a little bigger than fungus gnats as well, so that's how I can tell the difference with those couple of tips there. So, not that it matters. Flies are flies, and I don't like them, and I don't want them in my house. And I'm doing everything to try to get rid of them, but I have a hunch we're not going to see the total end of it until we have our first frost. My husband's got very thick hair, and he's outside a lot, and he tends to bring in flying insects in his hair. I always ask him to brush his hair out really good before he comes in, but I don't think he always does that. And if they land on his head and they land in his hair, and he gets in the house, then they fly in the house. That happens with mosquitoes all the time with him, so it's kind of an odd thing, but odd but true. All right, I think I've... Oh, I just heard another one break. And that's what I was afraid of. And I guess it's kind of silly because I know that it'll grow back and it'll be fine, but it just does something to me when I can feel a plant breaking in my hand. And otherwise healthy leaf like this one. So I'm going to try and propagate that and the other one that fell off. Look at the size of that, how big it is. It's so healthy. But they're very stiff and they break easily. Now to try to get this out of here is going to be my next big hurdle. Underneath here there's a lot of babies and I don't want to harm those babies. And I don't know how I'm going to get this out of here without doing some damage. I have her in a terracotta pot and she's going into another terracotta pot, a bigger one. Oh, come on, please come out. Oh, she's stuck. She is stuck, my friends. I'm gonna give it another go around here. Oh, and that's so hard to understand. I mean, I would have to go back and look at my videos, but I'm pretty sure it's only been about 2 months, maybe, and I'm not even sure if it's been that long. But I'm pretty sure that it's right around the 2-month mark that I just repotted this. So it has really, really grown a lot. Just broke another one. I can't tell you what this is doing to me. Yep, and another one. Well, this one, she's kind of on her way out, but this is a healthy leaf that I just snapped off. And that is kind of why I've been putting this off, because I kind of knew that was going to happen. And I'm hoping that once I get her in this next size pot, that she will live in there for a long, long time. I don't want to do this again for a while. And again, I'm going around the edge, the outside of the dirt, and I'm trying to go straight down, not on an angle, because if you go on an angle, you're going to cut into the roots. I'm trying to go as straight down as I possibly can. That is one thing I'll say about terracotta. The roots do stick more than they do in a glazed pot, because the terracotta is porous. So they want to grow into the pot, the roots, and that always makes it more difficult to get them out when you need to. So, but I did have her in plastic at one time, and I had her in a glazed pot, and she didn't like either one of them. So I put her back in terracotta, and that's where I've had her since. I have some other plants that need repotting very desperately. And I was hoping to get to those today as well, but I don't know now, because I knew this would be difficult, but I didn't think it was going to be quite this time consuming. So those might be a whole nother video for those of you that don't like long videos. I've got a couple of begonias that need repotting, and my strawberry begonia, which is not actually a begonia. You saw that in my dining room tour, and that one too is, I'm actually getting yellow leaves on there, which tells me that it's pot bound because it's not lacking water. So I know I gotta get that out of there very soon. Yep, this one just does not want to come out. My goodness. Oh, and I can see the roots. Alright, let's try it one more time. Oh boy. Oh, there she comes. Thank goodness. Okay. Now I'm relieved. Yeah. Lost quite a few leaves. And I'm not going to disrupt the roots on here because I don't want to mess around with this any more than I have to. I want to get it in the new pot with as little damage as possible to the root structure. So I think, I don't know, I have a real dilemma here. I'm not sure. I really think I need to pull some of these babies out of here because I don't think they're going to do well. They're not getting enough light. It's just getting too crowded in there. And I think for the sake of the plant, I need to do that. So, okay. Can you see? Can you see the babies in there? I'm hoping you can. There are a lot of them. So I think what I'm going to do is take out one side. Seems to have a lot more than the other, so I think what I'm going to do is take 1 or 2 from the side that's really thick and then just leave the rest in there. I don't want to take them all out because I like this full look. But I don't know if you can see this, but on this side there appears to be 3 babies right next to each other, and I think I'm going to take one off of there and maybe one out of here, just where it seems to be really crowded. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the X-Acto knife and I'm going to try to cut straight down because I want to try and get some of the original roots. I don't know if you can, if you're able to see this, but I'm going straight down. And by the way, this is what I do for a lot of plants when I'm dividing them, when I'm propagating. I have a lot of hostas in my yard, and those all came from one plant. And the key there was to take, I use a big butcher knife, and I just go straight down wherever I want that hunk of that plant. I go straight down and then cut and then pull it away. Because again, if you cut on an angle, then you run the risk of not getting those roots, and it just works out much better if you can get some of the original roots in the plant. And I don't know if this X-Acto knife is going to cut deep enough where I need it to accomplish what I want to accomplish, but we'll see. Okay. I hope you all are having a good week. We've got beautiful weather here right now. Well, it's beautiful to me. I love the dry fall air. And it hasn't been dry. It's been very humid and very high dew point, but the last 2 days it's been beautiful. Sunny, blue skies, and dry weather, and in the mid to upper 60s. And I absolutely love that weather. It's very comfortable for me. Okay. Yep, this is... Well, I guess my plan is not going to go as planned, because when I started cutting, instead of the middle one of these 3 coming loose, this one just popped loose all on its own. So I guess Mama's telling me this is the one she wants me to send out on her own. She must be ready. As you can see, the roots, and she's got quite a few leaves on her already with new babies coming up, so I'm going to repot her, and I think she's going to be fine. And that will open up this side of the plant. Now, I was cutting on this one, but I don't know if I want to continue to do that, do I? Oh, I wish my plant friends could talk to me. I love your comments after the fact, but sometimes I could use your advice or opinion while I'm doing something, and unfortunately we don't have that option, so I'm going to have to make this decision. Yeah, I honestly think that that one could go too, because I've got a big one here and a big one over here, I don't know if you can see that, but I think I'm going to continue the one I was cutting off and get that out of there, because I think she is crowding it a little bit. And really I want to make room for some of these babies to grow up a little bit. Oh, there she comes. Okay. Wonderful. Okay. Sigh of relief. There we go. Look at the roots on that one. Yay. And healthy growth. All right. That's 2. I'm just checking to see if I shouldn't take out even one more, but I think that will probably do it. Like I said, I am not anxious to have to do this again anytime soon, so bear with me while I think this through. For those of you that don't like long videos, you can fast forward by hitting the arrow. And for those of you that do, I appreciate you sticking with me. And I think I see one in here I can pull out without taking that real big one off, so I'm going to do that. And I wish I could show you a close-up of what I'm doing here, but it's hard for me to even get in here, let alone trying to get the camera in here. Oh, now that one is attached to the mother's stem. I don't think I want to cut that off. She does not have a root system of her own. And like I said earlier, some of them come out from her stem. Some of them she shoots a long root out, and then they pop up a baby at the end of that. And so yeah, those I'm going to have to leave. I'm not cutting anything off the mother's the trunk of the mother plant. That I won't do. So I think that's my cue to leave that on there. And let me just take one last look, and then I think we're going to get her potted up. Yep, I think that should do it. All right. Now I am going to reuse the soil. Most of you know that I do not like to do that. But because this was my soil mixture and because I just did this not too long ago, I don't see any reason to discard it. It still smells really good, and it's very healthy yet. There's no insects or anything going on, no mold, no nothing, so we're going to reuse this. So take this out. Here is the new home. I probably should have measured this. I believe that this is a 12-inch pot. And It does have a drainage hole in the bottom, as you can see. And I put some paper towel. I either use paper towel or coffee filter. When I have a hole this big, I don't want the dirt to come out of it. I don't always use a covering because I find that with the smaller drainage holes, I don't want them to get plugged up. And the little bit of dirt that I do get from watering, it's nothing to speak of. It's no big deal. So I'm going to put some dirt in here. Just really want to get this back in there without harming any more of the plant that I already have. Perfect. Perfect. And I'm saying perfect, I'm talking to myself because recently I have potted up some plants and I always put extra soil in because they tend to pack down after a few waterings. Well, for whatever reason, unbeknownst to me, my last couple of plants that I repotted, the soil hasn't done that. So now when I water my plants, unfortunately, I'm getting water all over the place because the soil level is too high. So I have to be careful not to do that here. Alright, now that the stressful part of this is pretty much over, I can tell you the story, if you don't know it already. The original Pilea or Pilea plant came from overseas and they were very difficult to get. Even a year ago, I've seen plants not even this size that they were selling for $40 to $60. It was crazy, crazy, crazy expensive. And as much as I love the plant, I just kept saying, I'm not paying that for that. I'll wait until they come down. Well, one day, my husband and I were in Stein's Garden Center here in Wisconsin. And it was actually, I believe it was last winter. And right when we walked in, there was a box with 2 other little pots inside of it. And the box was a plant. Oh, I'm losing some more leaves here. It was a plant about the size of the little one I just showed you. And the price on it was, I believe it was $14. $12 or $14 it was. Excuse me. And to me that was a lot for that size plant, but because I knew how much they were in other stores, if you could even find them, which was very, very rare, I was excited and I grabbed it like it was gold. And I was so excited, and I didn't stop talking about it all the way home. It probably drove my hubby crazy. But he just laughed at me. Or maybe he was laughing with me. But at any rate, I nurtured that plant. I repotted it because I just couldn't get it to look like it was happy. And as I said earlier, I had it in a ceramic pot, then I put it in a plastic pot, and then I've put it in the terracotta, and that's when it really took off. So I've kept her in terracotta ever since. I have another plant from her that is a pretty good size, and it too is now having babies. So I think she likes it here. I'm very, very happy to have her. She brings me a lot of joy. Just seeing her grow up from when she was so tiny and frail, and I didn't think she was going to make it, and now here she is all grown up and healthy, and I couldn't ask for a nicer looking plant. One of the things you have to remember to do with these is turn them at least every couple days, if not more, depending on how much light, because they will grow crooked. They tend to grow toward the light. Even if they're getting enough light, they grow toward the light. So you have to turn them quite often to keep the stem, the trunk of the plant straight. And I mean the trunk like the tree trunk going up the middle. That may not be the correct term, but that's what I'm calling it. Okay, I think I have enough soil in here. I think I'm going to stop. I do not want to overfill this because I want to be able to water her without getting water all over the place. So, there she is. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I brought some information to you that you didn't already know. Sometimes I sit down with the best of intentions of what I'm going to talk about, and sometimes I totally forget to say what I had intended to say. So I think we talked about the water. Did we talk about watering? No, I don't think we did. I water her when she's dry. Like right now, her soil was almost completely dry, but because she was pot bound, I was watering her like every other day. But now in this pot, it's probably going to be, I will water her today, give her a drink, and then probably not again for 3 or 4, maybe even 5 days. And that too, of course, depends on the light. If we have cloudy, rainy weather for 2-3 days in a row, then no. But this plant will let you know, because she will droop like this. And that is a good sign that she needs water. Right now, she's drooping because she needed to be repotted. So, and the reason, the way that I knew that was, even after I watered her, these bottom leaves were not going back up. And that's what happened the last time. So I know that once I get her watered up and get her back in the sunshine, these leaves will be back up here again. And I think that's about it. Lots and lots of light. I cannot stress that enough. I use the LED lights, and I have her in a south window, so she gets a lot of light. And feeding, I only feed her once in a great while. I've only fed her, I think, 4 times since I've had her. But I use the synthetic Peters. Food, I've used that for many, many years. And I am trying to get away from that, actually, because Suzette from Suzette's Gardens uses, she brought up the fish emulsion, and I used to use that years ago, and then I quit using it, and I couldn't remember why I stopped using it, and I think it was because they quit carrying it. I couldn't find it. So I kept using the Peters, which I believe is now called Jack's. The son took that over, and that really wasn't a very, very good food. It was a 20-20-20 all-purpose, and I used it on all my plants, but I have to admit, the plants that we had back in the day were not as sensitive as some of them now. I don't use it on my calatheas because they do not like it. So I'm only using worm castings on there right now, and I am looking for a good fish emulsion. I know that Suzette had put a video up about that, but I couldn't find the kind that she uses, so I'm still doing some research on that, and once I find a good one, and feel free, please, people, if you've got a good fish emulsion that you have used for years, that you have a lot of experience with, and you want to brag about it, please do down in the comment section, because that will help me greatly make my decision as to what kind I buy next time. But in the meantime, as you can see, she's doing pretty well, so I don't think she's suffering for lack of food. But like I said, the worm castings do help too, so that's that. Oh, also I used only distilled water on her. That was another thing. On her and on my calatheas and a few other of my very prized, my begonias, my plants that, I have plants that just have a lot of meaning for me and I don't want to lose them, and on those I use the distilled water. And the plants love it. They love it. So, alright. Okay, I think maybe a little bit more here. I see some roots sticking out. Yeah, I go from one extreme to the other. I used to be an overwaterer, bad, years and years ago, and I didn't want to be that anymore, so then I overcorrected to a fault, and now I am a chronic underwaterer, so I don't know. Someday, maybe before I pass from this world, I'll have it all perfected. Probably not, but we can make that our goal. Okay, folks, this is going to be it. This is already very, very long. I hope you enjoyed the video, and again, if you have any comments, please feel free to leave them, and if you have any suggestions or ideas, those of you that have seen my my tours of my living room and my dining room, if you have anything that you want to see in specific or talk about or have me do a video on, please let me know that too. And stay tuned, because like I said, I do have other plants that I'm going to be repotting here in the very near future. And one of them is my strawberry begonia, and that's going to be something to watch. So do come back, and in the meantime, be kind to one another. It takes a lot more effort to be angry with people than it does to just smile and walk away. And support Pammy's channel, Pammy's Planty Things. She's got a hashtag. It's called hashtag Pammy's Planty Kindness. And I know that's a mouthful, but it says it all, and we want to support that in the plant community. There are a lot of good people in the plant world, and we just want to promote that and keep that moving along. So okay, you all have a good rest of your week if I don't come to you before then, and have a good day, and thank you again. Oh, and don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you like the video. It's very much appreciated, and if you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching. Have a good day. Bye now.